So this video is about the problems with this aftermarket governor that I received. This is actually the second one that I've gotten that doesn't work right. And I'm going to walk you through the problems with this one specifically. And I can go into details with the other one later. So the quadrant will not go down to idle. However, I can get it up to max speed on here by adjusting the max speed stop on the governor. The problem is when I put it down to as low as it can go, it is currently pulling the governor up as high as it can, putting tension on that spring, bringing it forward. This got disconnected. Give me a second here to reconnect it. All right, I've got the carburetor linkage reconnected. With the governor set as far forward as it can go, again, not down to idle on the quadrant, this linkage is firmly up against the stop there. The butterfly, let me get the light on. Hope you can tell, but the butterfly does not actually close entirely. See, the butterfly needs to go down further to contact. So there is no way, you can see I can get my finger in there between the screw and the stop. That means that with the governor in there, when I start the tractor, as you can hear, it runs way too fast. And there's no physical way to adjust it any lower because the governor does not allow that. That is the first problem. All right, I have disconnected the governor. Now I'm going to show you how this governor governs, or it doesn't. So right now, without the engine running, as you can see, I've disconnected the governor from the linkages. I'll manually operate the throttle, and I'll show you how this governor is operating, or rather not operating correctly. In theory, it should, as soon as the engine fires, with no stress on this spring, immediately try pulling it down to idle, all the way up. And if you remember, all the way up against that hard stop there is not even idle at the carburetor. Watch what happens when I light up the tractor. Goes that far and stops. So even with revving the engine manually and pretty high, it does not govern all the way back to idle. It only governs from this position to about that position. Not even the whole throw, and the whole throw is incorrect for this system. What I think is the problem is inside the governor, there's this shaft, the governor shaft here, that operates the carb, and it's reacted against by that spring from the quadrant position. What I think on the bottom there is a wishbone that pushes up against a disc that moves out as the flyweights fly out. I think the wishbone is clocked incorrectly on this governor. On the first governor we received, it did not govern at all at any point in this range. There was no noticeable effect happening from the governor. Now, I never did check whether or not it moved forward far enough to actually close the throttle all the way on the carb, because we never got to a point where I could even start to test that. The old governor, on the other hand, The old governor, even on the bench, if you spin it, notice it goes all the way up, and it actually goes farther than that carburetor, that other governor does. And you can see why we're replacing this governor. It's also very loose. And I even tightened the spring up. This spring was quite loose as well. But on this one, it governs all the way up till it's actually behind where the casting is. On this governor, it doesn't even reach flush with it. I don't know if you can tell, but it doesn't even reach flush. So I hope you understand what I'm getting at with this and see the problem here. Hopefully that we can get a new governor that actually works correctly. Until then, I guess I just got to put the old worn governor back in to use the tractor.